Because I'm trying to think. I have a very uh, I don't even know if I've seen this movie, but I know there was like the British and the American version of that movie, the
Yeah,
Death
I
at a
was just gonna
Funeral.
bring that up. I was just gonna say this. Like, I wrote a small list of three movies I could think of that were like about death. About like just after someone dies, and the top of my list was Death at a Funeral. That's like a far better movie than this.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering. Like something that has to do with death, and that's a comedy and that's a bit of an ensemble. So I
Yeah.
wonder if at some point I should revisit. Apparently, Death at a Funeral is on Prime, the American one. So
Oh, I
I
didn't
should.
think the American one was nearly as good. The British one's way better.
That's the 2007, because
Yeah, 2007. Yeah,
that's the British one because it's got
yeah, the British one.
Chris Rock.
Oh no, not that one then. Although I can't believe it was
Peter
made that
Dinklage.
quickly. Yeah, Peter Dinklage is in
Mm.
both of them.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So what's the other one? Because the other one's 2010.
It's Frank Oz. Um, it's
Yeah, it's funny that 2007. No, it messed up. Yeah, something's messed up here. Like both the 2007 and the 2010 is the same movie on Google. So something's up. I should switch to IMDb.
strange. Yeah, on IMDb. Yeah, so there you go. 2007 is the Frank Oz directed one, with Matthew McFadden, Peter Dinklage, Ewan Bremer, a bunch of other great actors. Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a really good one.
yeah, I'll check that one out. Is that one? Oh, it's on Freevee. That's good. I can
Um,
watch it for free.
I wrote down the only three movies I can think of off the top of my head that were like about a funeral or about someone who just died or whatever was like Death at a Funeral, The Big Chill, and this movie called Catch and Release, which wasn't actually that good, but I mean it wasn't horrendous, but it was definitely not that good. The Whereas I think The Big Chill and or Death at a Funeral are much better.
Yeah, I remember watching The Big Chill probably like the early 2000s and
It's all
liking it.
not a perfect movie. It's got some problems too, but it's probably a little bit better put together than this one. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but a bunch of people kind of
This is more
getting together.
believable. I think in The Big Chill, it's like, if I remember correctly, it's been a couple years since I've seen it at least, but I think it's like somebody dies, and it's there was this really, really, really close, tight knit group of friends from college that were all like a big group of 8 people or something like that, and then because it was like they had all gone far away or something like that for whatever reason, they go to the funeral because the person died, and then as a result they're all crashing at Kevin Klein's house or something like that. And it's like he's got a big house with a lot of rooms or something, so you get all those people staying for like 4 days straight or something like that after the funeral. And it's like, it's a good movie. It's got good characters. It's well written, good, well acted. Everything. I remember liking it, but it's like, at least this one, they're all family, and you know, the whole thing with the mother lying to them and saying, "I want them to do this ritual and sit shiva." That's much more realistic. That people would stop their lives and do this rather than. I would love to think that some of my closest friends, if I were to die, would like come together and spend a weekend together. That's a fantastic thought. I mean, realistically, it doesn't seem to really happen that much. So, as unfortunate as that might be,
Well, I can see it if it's a destination funeral because people like kind
Well,
of like
in the
live.
in the movie, in The Big Chill, that's like the thing, is because it's like a destination type funeral type thing where they're all traveling to go to it. But then when they all get there, they don't stay for the night. It's like, because they're all experiencing this thing together and stuff. There's all these moments where, like, after the first night, everybody's like on the phone calling their jobs, calling their families, calling people, and they're like, I'm gonna stay for 3 more days. I'm sorry. I got. It's an emergency. I got to take some more time off work or something like that. Like, it's just this kind of thing where it's like, I mean, it's good for the movie, but it's a. I remember watching it going like, really? Okay. Well, if you say so.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about like just like that sometimes with your friends, like you just you want to stay there, but I don't know. I don't remember the specifics of the movie, but anyways.
There's been times where I've wanted to stay if I, went somewhere for a destination wedding or for if I happen to travel somewhere because of a funeral. There have been times where I've been around cousins and friends and stuff like that, and I've definitely wanted to stay and talk and stuff. I mean, I definitely after some funerals I've been to, I find it very rewarding to be spending time, especially after a funeral, to go out and eat. Like people, a lot of times people say, I don't have an appetite. I just don't feel like eating. I get a urge to eat after a funeral. Like it happens all the time. But yeah, I love reminiscing with family and friends and stuff like that. So I definitely can relate to the idea of feeling like, I want this to keep going. I just think it's like when you're portraying like, I don't know, at least 6 to 8, adults who have careers going on. They're all in their like 30s or 40s, it just seems a little far fetched that it would happen. I'd love it to happen. I just think it's a little, unbelievable.
Yeah, although yeah, I mean, I think for one thing, when there's a funeral, people kind of like clear their schedule for a few days.
Sure.
But the sometimes, not always, depends on how close you are to the deceased. But and it goes back to the whole Shiva thing, that the instinct and maybe be with people that you have a connection with, like a history
Sure.
with, and then you want to spend time with them. Yeah, if it's not 7 days, it might be like 2-3 days. But
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, like I never knew that Kasdan directed White Earp.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Yeah, I don't know why. I thought he wrote it, but like, but I didn't know he directed it. Also, he
Yeah.
wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, he's a great writer. Yeah.
I guess one of the writers.
Yeah.
George Lucas has the writing credit on that.
Well, of course, it was Lucas's story, and
yeah, I know it's a story. I just didn't know he actually wrote the script.
no, I mean, I just think that like historically, it seems like whenever you can get Lucas to come up with a story and Kasdan to write it, that's usually a winning combination.
That's what he didn't they try to involve him with one of the recent Star Wars?
As far as I know, he was involved with I should just look it up and see. I don't know. I was gonna say I thought he had some involvement in
It was Lego Star Wars.
I was gonna say
Solo. He was
Solo one. Yeah, that's
Solo,
what I was gonna say.
Hmm.
Let's see.
He's been doing some shorts lately. Interesting.
That's interesting. His kids are pretty good directors, or at least one of them.
Anyways, any other thoughts about This Is Where I Leave You?
We don't have to add this in, but I was going to say, since I never even looked it up before the movie or anything, I was going to say, trying to figure out where I would place this amongst Shawn Levy's movies that he's directed, obviously. I've only seen, let me see, 10 of his films. Gil, one of your guilty pleasures is on this list.
Which one?
Back in 2011, he directed Real Steel.
Yeah, I did see that he did Real Steel. I was like, oh, that's definitely a good one.
I'm not going to try to like list these in order or anything, but I can say that the first of his movies I ever saw was Just Married. And he looks like he right around that time, after being a TV director, he started doing a bunch of like lighthearted comedy type stuff. I would say that I think This Is Where I Leave You is a better movie than Just Married, better than Cheaper Than by the Dozen, better than the remake of the Pink Panther. And people love that movie Night at the Museum. I've seen the first one. I've seen half of the sequel, the second one. I mean, I I've told you guys many times, I cannot really accept Ben Stiller as a like protagonist that I'm supposed to connect with. I love Ben Stiller as a villain. I love him in Happy Gilmore. I love him in Heavyweights. I love him so much in Dodgeball. And I love him as a good guy too in like Tropic Thunder when he's playing a fool. And I love him in Zoolander when he's playing a really outrageous character. But if I'm supposed to like actually like, I mean, when I watch Something About Mary, I'm just like, dude, you don't deserve this girl at all. You know? So, like, I just can't take him seriously as a serious protagonist. So that's my problem with that movie. I do think it's a very good movie. It's just, it's like a family film and stuff, but it's fine. It's just, for me, I don't think that that's a better movie than this, but I know a lot of people would definitely disagree with me. It's like a whole trilogy of those. But
yeah, it's funny. I gave 7 to the first one. And
the first, I mean,
to the second
I
one.
remember thinking it was a good movie. I just can't get on board with it. But
I think it's just like it was a bit. It's like a Jumanji in a museum.
It is. It's very much like, that's a really good way of putting it too. I thought Date Night was a funny concept, but I didn't think it was a very good movie. Real Steel, we all talked about that before. It's a pretty fun movie, but especially since it's a movie based off of Rock'em Sock'em Robots. But but yeah, and then his more recent stuff, I definitely think is better than so I think that this is where I leave you, was probably the best movie he had made up to this point. You know, maybe Real Steel might be a little better, but that's just my opinion, obviously. But then after that, he made Free Guy, and I loved that movie. He made The Adam Project, which definitely has some problems for sure, but it's a pretty watchable Netflix movie. And then he just made the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, which was, you know, absolutely incredible if you've watched the 30 movies that came out before it. It's kind of niche in that way.
Yeah. I guess I might not see it ever. But yeah, I think you mentioned Free Guy as a recommendation.
I loved it. It's not for everybody, for sure.
I gotta say, I the whole Ryan Reynolds thing, I just never landed with me. I think he's what Ben Stiller is to you. Like I think he's convinced that he's funny, but he's really not funny to me. But I guess he's funny to some people, and he's likable to some people. But he's just he looks like a douche and acts like a douche, and it's just. To me, there's nothing funny about it, but you know, he's attractive and he's an actor, so I understand that some people will be into him. And I'm sure some of the movies are decent, but I don't know why he's so unappealing. But you know, also when you said Ben Stiller, I was thinking like maybe to you Ben Stiller is kind of like Ben Affleck of comedies, because in some ways like Ben Stiller like would be better just making movies than he would be being in them. To a degree, but at the same time, just like Ben Affleck, sometimes if he's cast in the right role, like in Gone Girl and a few of these, like where it really like lends to his personality, then you're like, yeah, he's helping this movie. He's not making it worse.
I don't know. I feel like I'm sure most of America feels the same way I do, in that at least to the extent of saying that. When it comes to Ben Affleck, I feel like my feelings for him have been like this roller coaster of ups and downs. But I'm at the point right now where I think he's a really good actor. I just think he just needs the right project.
Yeah, like casting. Casting is
it's all about that.
90% of the work of directing.
And obviously, like you just said, I think he's a really good director.
Yeah, but it's tough. It's tough to sustain the whole directing thing. It's I was just thinking about that too. Yeah, there's a lot of these people that, you know, whether it's Judd Apatow and other people that will do a few movies and then they kind of like just, I think I'm going to stick to producing, because the more I'm going to stick my neck out, I'm just going to prove that I'm not that good of a director.
I think Judd Apatow is really good.
Yeah, but I feel like after a few movies, he kind of dropped out. Like the quality dropped out, and then he sort of like just started producing other things and finding new talent. Because like, why stick your neck out? You know, like why like you know, fail 2, 3, 4 times and then nobody will like green light a movie for you. So I don't know.
I kind of wonder about him though too. Maybe it's, I mean, you never know until you actually meet someone and talk to them and get to know them better about this stuff. But like, it seems like when you think about the fact that he got his start with multiple different ensemble TV shows where he was like the showrunner. He was the creator and showrunner and wrote and directed. He was very much involved, in those things. It seems very possible that maybe from the get-go, maybe his talents are in that kind of management, producing, executive producing kind of way. Maybe he's really comfortable with that.
I think it's always been that case. It's just that everybody wants to be a director. Everybody wants to be like a talented craftsman. It's like that's really where it's at. Like that's why people like Spielberg or like Nolan. Like you don't graduate from being a director. Like once you become a director, it's kind of like Picard and Kirk and being like captain. Like they don't want to be an admiral. Like captain is where it's at. Like that's where the juice is.
It's a good analogy.
But to sustain it is not easy. And then people like Shawn Levy and others, like they're basically directors for hire. Like if they get a really good project and they just make it their own and they bring technical savvy to it, and then there's less pressure on them because if it fails, well, it wasn't my idea. Like I was just hired for it. Then they can go off and try another idea, and as long as like they have a hit every movie or two, then they can just keep going. But to generate your own stuff, that's very, very brave. Like someone like Tarantino or like PTA and some of these people, like you can really fall flat if you just like keep coming up with your own ideas, but then all of a sudden you just like don't have it anymore. I mean, Apatow could have like easily just started like doing other people's scripts, but it's not what he wanted to do, and
yeah.
Fine, and I think he ran out of ideas.
This guy Shawn Levy, I mean, he had that. Like I said, I never saw the third one. I only saw part of the second one, but I think most people would say that Night at the Museum trilogy is probably a pretty darn successful franchise. I mean, I think it's pretty well reviewed, and I think it made a lot of money.
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of the big comedy directors. I mean, another interesting one is like Adam McKay, because he started with with comedies, but then all of a sudden he became this like serious director, but still stuck to the comedy somehow in there, and and he's doing okay, but he did have a slight like unevenness with I guess the last one, the generally because he became so political. Don't Look Up. Yeah. And also, and the one about Cheney too was a bit.
Yeah.
Like because once you get into politics and once you wear your politics on your sleeve, then it becomes a bit tough to sustain that because you're always going to like alienate some people. And
yeah. Well, I definitely feel like with him, like his early stuff, like Anchorman for sure. Talladega Nights, I feel like is a bit much sometimes when I watch it, even though it is very funny. But those two, or that one and Step Brothers and the other guys, especially those four movies, I think are really funny. Especially the other guys. That one is just outstandingly funny. It's a kind of ridiculous in a sense, but yeah, I didn't know of him by name. Like I didn't know he was the guy who directed all those movies until The Big Short came out. And everybody was like, oh, this movie that's nominated for Academy Awards and whatever was directed by Adam McKay. And I'm like, who's that? I had to look it up. I was like, I didn't know who he was. It's such a huge twist to like go from something like, like all those outrageous comedies to something like that.
And I guess the third one in that equation is it's like Todd Phillips too, because he did the Joker thing after like
what else has he done?
He did
The
Hangover movies.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, War Dogs. Due Date.
I really liked War Dogs. That's a good.
I think War Dogs was already like a bit of a serious comedy of sorts. So I guess that was just a transitional movie.
It's a serious movie in that it has comedic moments throughout, obviously, but the comedic moments are look at what you're watching. This is crazy kind of thing. It's not like this isn't like set up joke kind of ha humor.
Yeah, he also did the Starsky and Hutch. I guess that was before the Hangover movies.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Old school. Old school. God. I guess that was like his big road trip too. I guess it was.
Road Trip was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Started out Road Trip, Old School. Yeah, all big comedy. School for Scoundrels was pretty terrible.
Yeah, like how do you go from that all of a sudden he does like Joker? I mean, that's just
yeah.
Oh, actually, he is somebody who has made a public statement that he's pretty much done with comedy just because of the the cultural shift that we're experiencing and everything.
Really?
Like that he.
So he evolved out of necessity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm looking. I'm not trying to say at all that he was like untouchable or anything. Road Trip is a flawed movie for sure. Old School is a freaking classic. That's great. Starsky and Hutch wasn't that great in my opinion. School for Scoundrels not great, but the Hangover trilogy I really liked. Due Date has tone problems for sure, but like all of a sudden, like you said, boom, goes from these two. I mean, Joker's not like it's not like like a hard drama or anything. It's got its own weird little thing going on with it, but that is a strange twist all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, all these people oftentimes, I'm sure, are movie fans and they have like aspirations. I mean, it's kind of funny, like what's his face from SNL.
Which one?
The one who did Barry, the TV show.
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader, yeah. Bill Hader, like he's like a big film buff, and he went to film school. Like he wanted to be a filmmaker, and then ended up just being auditioning for SNL, and he got in, so made a career out of that. But he really wanted to be a director, and then he ended up doing his own show. But he knew he probably couldn't go crazy serious with that, so he did like this hybrid of like comedy plus action intrigue type of thing.
Yeah,
and it worked out for him. But yeah, it's very tough to make these pivots because like you don't want to pivot too hard, especially as an actor. I think it's tough, but some do. I mean, it's kind of like you mentioned like Parks and Recs to a degree. With I didn't know that guy, that the rabbi was in that show because I haven't watched
John Ralphio.
Yeah, but
he is far more ridiculous in Parks and Rec than he's almost unbelievable. Like you would, I don't think a character like that almost exists. He's so ridiculous.
Yeah, but what's his face that was there in Guardians? Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he pivoted pretty well from essentially like a silly comedy actor to like a huge movie star. Yeah. Although now he's also like with the politics, I think alienated some people.
I don't feel like he's talking that much about politics. I just think he's talking about what he feels about stuff, and people just disagree with him. But I don't know. That's just my take. But
yeah. But I wonder if like it's hurt his career a bit.
I think it definitely has. No question. It's hurt his career. Yeah.
Like he's no longer like the it actor, for like.
Yeah, I would say after Guardians 2, he was probably like A-list for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think
like 6 months or something.
He could have been like what Ryan Reynolds is doing now with a lot of these like big comedies and stuff. And to a degree, I guess there's also Ryan Gosling to a degree. He's in a bit of a role. Like some of these movies could easily be Chris Pratt, but I do think that he's sort of like alienated some people.
For sure.
But which is silly. I think the whole politics thing is silly. I think people should be just like, it should be like if you do a good job and you're charismatic and you're amusing and that's all that matters. But unfortunately, like that's not enough for people. You also have to toe the line.
Yeah. Kevin Costner, I think. I want to say it was Kevin Costner. I could be wrong. I don't know. But like, I think I was watching an interview with him 2 months ago or 3 months ago when he was kind of promoting the Horizon movie and stuff. And I want to say it was him, I think. But somebody like an older movie star of some kind, I remember was in an interview, long format interview. And he was saying, whoever it was saying like, talking about back in the day, how, movie stars, sure, you might hear them talk about something about politics when they're, doing an acceptance speech or something like that. But generally speaking, like you didn't know what their politics were, because the idea is that when you see them in the movie, you want them to think about the character and not think about all the baggage that they bring with it when they're all the stuff they've talked about in the past, with how they feel about this issue or that issue and all these things like that. And he's like, whoever it was saying they wish they could get back to that time, like, where it's like, if you're a famous movie star, you should be like an enigma to the, to the audience.
I definitely think it's smart, but at the same time, I mean, these people have a lot of money, so if they want to speak their mind, it's like everybody says, like there's you can say whatever you want, just like you have to be okay with the consequences. So yeah. But the I was actually brought up the whole Kevin Costner thing. I was gonna ask Matt, like, how do you feel about? Isn't there like a whole thing with the Horizon that they're not gonna release the next chapters like in theaters or something?
I think they're still going to do Horizon 2 for sure. It's just being postponed. As for 3 and 4, I mean, they're not even shot yet, so who knows what the future is going to hold for them. I don't know. It's kind of a weird. I mean, the whole movie is a bit of an experiment in and of itself, and yeah, it's so like I think a lot of this, from what I've been reading, is like the studios are basically trying to figure it out as they go, as much as, and then like we're following behind them, which doesn't seem like a recipe for success. But yeah, I really like the first one. I mean, obviously it's hard to really say anything about it, being that it is part 1 of 4, and it doesn't have like a clean ending or anything. But I think that I don't know. I definitely want all 4 to get made and to see all of them, and I would like to see them all in theaters. I'm just not sure that they figured that out yet.
Yeah, it's because it looks like it says the original plan was June 28th for the first one and August 16th for the second one, but I guess that never happened. But the second one,
correct?
Yeah, it's funny the way like movies are evolving. Like even though there's the occasional hit, whether it's like the Barbie thing or this Inside Out made a lot of movie. Some of the animated movies sometimes do really well, but it's and then wasn't there like, I think Horizon did pretty poorly, and there was another movie that had like high expectations that didn't do well. It's just so tough. Like it really feels like serious drama, unless it's like Oscar season type of bait. These like sleeper hits that have a lot of critical acclaim. Sometimes those can make decent money in theaters if they have a good long run during the award season. But for the most part, it's very tough to like make money in the theater for a serious drama, especially if it's an expensive serious drama. So it's times have definitely changed. Like it feels like this should have been like a TV show, but Kevin Costner just wanted to make it like a movie saga.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the audience is just not there. I mean, I think that's the issue.
Yeah. And it still bothers me that they're are. I mean, let's face it. Rotten Tomatoes scores are still things that drive people to the theater, and especially if it's going to be a 3-hour movie. A lot of people aren't going to see it unless somebody's telling them like, this is Oppenheimer level. And I mean the thing is that like I was interested to read some of the reviews of it, and of course a lot of them were talking about how long it was, and a lot of these same people praised Oppenheimer, which was the same length of a movie.
Yeah.
But a lot of them weren't criticizing the movie. They were criticizing what they perceived to be the politics of the movie. Like they didn't like the fact that the white man and the Native Americans were kind of dealt with both sympathetically, as opposed to like the opening sequence of the movie was a raid on a town of settlers, and it depicts the the barbarism of the Native Americans who were attacking them, killing women and children, and all that stuff. And it's just like, of course, if you look at history, that kind of stuff happened. But I mean, yeah, a lot of the negative reviews of the movie are not coming from the fact that it's not a good movie. It's that they don't like the fact that this isn't like a white person saying sorry for all the years of having cowboys and Indian stories where the Indians were all savages or anything like that. It's just kind of it's kind of like showing history how it kind of sort of was. and yeah, so that kind of bothers me, because I mean, a lot of people with Rotten Tomatoes, they don't actually read the reviews. They just look at the scores and see that it's having low scores and make a decision. If you actually read the articles and realize like, oh, maybe I don't care that I don't care about this like postmodern view of history not getting its day in the cinema, maybe I will go see it. But anyway,
yeah, maybe it did get politicized, but it seems like, yeah, I mean, I'm reading some of the reviews, and it seems like one of the complaints, yeah, that it feels more like would be a mini series than a movie, because like, and some compare it to Open Range as far as like the feel of it, but the Open Range was a lot more condensed, and it had better performances from like Robert Duvall, Michael Gambon, so it's like, and that's one thing I would agree, if I haven't seen it, but normally if you can wrap up a story in 2 to 3 hours, I think it's best done, yeah, either as a miniseries, or yeah, if you do it as a saga, as like some sort of like trilogy. But that's the other thing. I mean, if it's a trilogy, like you want to try and keep the movies under 3 hours, like should be more like 2.5. I mean, I think Lord of the Rings was one exception where it sort of worked, because they were able to condense 3 big books to 3 long movies, so you almost excuse it, because that's still a lot of compression there, which he didn't do with The Hobbit. But otherwise, like if it's gonna be a trilogy, it should be more like Star Wars, where it's like 2.5 hours per movie, and it's more digestible. But I don't know if it's just the type of movie, and yeah, gun culture and where that is politically, and the whole Native American thing. I think all that stuff is just a bit too politicized nowadays.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I mean, yeah. But ultimately, like anything else, I think with movies, what it proves, because people again and again think that like movies are like that the movie theater experience is over. It really feels like there's still plenty of movies being made, and most of them are released in theaters, and some of them become like hits. So it seems like there's an appetite for maybe some movies more than others, but it seems like certain genres, whether it's like comedies because of political correctness or other ones, they're just going to struggle a bit more. Like it's going to be a tougher swing for someone to pull that off.
Yeah.